Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona, where it is a super fantastic, sparkling Serenity Sunday and a day of. Welcome to May! Oh my gosh, it's the 1st of May today. I already changed the question of the month too. So, first of all, how was your Sunday? What did I've got crumbs all over the place here. Hang on. Quick housekeeping. All right, we're done. Um, how was your day today? Was it relaxing? What did you get to do? What did you do today that just had you going? I actually did do. I don't work on. I don't like working on the weekends unless, of course, my mastermind thing, and then I enjoy that. Or if it's for one of my businesses and not my normal stuff. Put it this way: on the Saturdays, I like to work on stuff that I don't get to work on during the week because I'm busy doing my schedule's a little on the full side. I've got the mailbox power chat. I've got a client that I work for. So there's not a lot of time I get left to do the genealogy and my other um, businesses. So Saturday is kind of the day that I put aside for that. And then Sunday is completely off. Although today I did get in 3 hours work for a client that I work for during the week, only because I had to get it done. It was 3 solid hours. There's no way I could have got it done in the time that I have tomorrow, which is only an hour and a half before I have to get on a Zoom with them all. Um, so got that done and out of the way. Otherwise, that would take up all my time for her during the week, and I know she's got more work coming down the pipeline for me. Um, so got some work out of the way, um, which was good because the plate's a little clearer. And then after that, by that time it was lunchtime, so I sat here and had lunch with Zeffy sitting right beside me here, hoping to get some cheese. She got some little pieces. While I played 500 on my computer, and then she tooted off when she realized the food was gone and she wasn't getting any more. She tooted off to bed, and I sort of thought, because I was thinking, I just might go sit in the recliner, do some jigsaw puzzles on the iPad, have a movie going on in the background. And I remembered I have two ACs going, which makes it very difficult to hear the TV. I thought, well, if I put my little portable speaker over there, I could listen to an audio book while I do that. And I looked and went, I really don't feel like doing that. And I looked at the bedroom and I thought, I'm going to go lay on the bed. If I snooze, I snooze. If I don't, I don't. But I'm just going to lay there and read. And so that's what I did. I went and climbed on the bed, threw a blanket over me, and snuggled down and snoozed for a little bit, and read for a little bit, snoozed again, read some more. And it was just, and basically I just got up. And he just now got up, and I've been there since 1 o'clock this afternoon. So for the last 5 hours, I have been laying in bed, or laying on the bed with a blanket, um, just reading and snoozing. And Zeffy would sit up. She's so funny when she sleeps because she lays down, then all of a sudden she just sits up and just sits there, and she's sort of like, and then she kind of leans against the pillow like she can't quite hold herself up. She wants to go back to sleep. So I just lay there, and she was always ends up facing me. So I just lay there and just stroke her chest like this with the back of my hand, and her head just starts nodding back down. And then before you know it, she just sort of like slides back down and goes back to sleep. She's so funny. Now she's sprawled out on the floor, waiting. Yeah, she's laying there waiting because she knows it's walk time. So we just had a nice relaxing afternoon. It was fantastic. I didn't worry about work. I didn't worry about anything. I turned the computer off. I locked it up and turned the keyboard off because everything's wireless. And see, this is my keyboard. It's pink. It goes with my computer. And then I have the pink mouse to go with it too. So I just powered them down, locked the computer, and that was it. We were in. And so it's been a very nice, relaxing afternoon. What am I going to do this evening? Probably more of what I did this morning. Although, yeah, I'll probably turn the front AC off because the sun's about to go down where it's not going to be heating up the RV. So I'll be able to turn the front AC off for now um, and watch. I don't know. Don't even know if we're going to watch anything. Maybe we'll just put some, I don't know, chick flick on in the background while I do the jigsaw puzzles. I don't know. I haven't decided. I haven't even decided what I'm going to do for dinner tonight. Might do some eggs. I don't know. Maybe just do a bowl of cereal. That sounds appetizing. Uh, but so it's been a really nice, relaxing day of doing nothing. So how was your day? Did you get to do nothing as well? Did you find something relaxing to do? And because it's the 1st of May, we have changed our Tell Your Story question of the month. Your Tell Your Story question of the month is where are some places you have vacationed during your lifetime so far, And do you have any favorites? Oh my gosh. I have vacationed just about all over New Zealand. I vacationed in some places in Australia, Sydney and Melbourne. Well, Melbourne, I was there working. Yeah, I was there for 3 weeks working. So, but I worked till 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then the rest of the evening was mine. But then I also started at 5 o'clock in the morning. So because we're working on New Zealand hours. So I kind of had mini vacations while I was in Melbourne, but I did enjoy exploring Melbourne in the afternoons after I finished work. Been to Sydney. Where else have I been? Went to the Cook Islands. That was work related, but man, it was so much fun. It felt like a vacation because in New Zealand, I go home. When I go back home to New Zealand, I've been there like a week, and it feels like I've been there 2. It's like time slows down. And I thought that was pretty cool until we were on the Cook Islands, and even though it was work related, it was for a familial trip that we were doing there, and there were some other travel professionals with us along with our 2 guides. I think it was a party of 10 of us. It was 10, yeah, 8 professionals and the 2 guides from the 2 companies that we were working with, and they'd taken us on 3 days in the Cook Islands, and I still remember we arrived there. We left it. Our flight time was 11:59 p.m. on Sunday night, and we arrived at 7 o'clock in the morning in the Cook Islands, and got off the plane. They took us to the hotel. We had a couple of hours to kick back, relax, refresh, all of that sort of stuff before they took us on these. How many hotels did we visit that day? We went into the first one. We went and visited. They gave us lunch. Then. I still have my notes. Such an incredible trip. We did like another 2 or 3 different hotels, and then we got taken to this last hotel, and they fed us dinner. And then the next morning we had to be at the front desk by 7 o'clock in the morning. We're all there at 6:45. We get on the bus. We get taken back to the airport. We hop on a prop plane and fly from Rarotonga, which is the island that we were on, over to Arataki. And Arataki is this amazing island that has this beautiful lagoon, and it's a very famous lagoon, and you probably won't even recognize it. But if you've ever seen the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, that's where they do all of the photography for that on those beautiful beaches that you see. That is all on Arataki, and they do the different islands and the beaches and whatnot. Also, Survivor Cook Islands was filmed on Arataki Lagoon as well. And so we get there, we get taken over to a hotel. They give us breakfast, take us on a tour of the property. Then they take us to their jetty, and we get on Tavaka. And Tavaka is a Polynesian catamaran. And we get on there. They've got this great big long table there for us. We've all got coconuts with straws sticking out of it. And it's like, well, this is cool. And they took us out on the lagoon. Oh my gosh, we had such an incredible day out there. And we'd had so much packed in the day before that the guy comes over to us. I'm trying to remember his name. I know I have his name written down. Real sweetheart of a guy. And he comes over to us, so when did you guys arrive? And we're all sort of like looking at each other going, was it yesterday? We couldn't even remember what day we arrived, because in New Zealand, time tends to slow down. In the Cook Islands, it literally stands still. That we got so much packed in the day before with the hotels that we went into it, and the arriving in the country, getting off the plane, arriving in the country, having that 2-hour break before we started our tour of the hotels, doing the hotel visits, and the meals and stuff, that we were sort of like, I think we were right. We're all like, was it yesterday we arrived, or was it the day before? We had packed so much in that previous day that we'd forgotten that was the day we actually arrived. And here we are on Tavaka, we're like kicked back, relaxing, enjoying this gorgeous lagoon. I mean, the water was so crystal clear. You could see the bottom. It was beautiful. It was a magical day being out there on Tavaka on the thing. And they took us to one island where we couldn't leave the beach. So we just like prowled around the beach, and there's hermit crab shells everywhere, empty ones. And one of the travel professionals traveling with us, her son has a hermit crab. So she was looking for bigger crabs for the hermit crab to move into. I mean, not bigger crabs, bigger shells for the hermit crab to move into. So she's looking for empty shells. But we saw so many hermit crabs just running around on this beach. It was awesome. It was amazing. And you had to be careful where you step, because are you going to step on one that's a shell that's occupied or a shell that's empty? You never knew. So you're kind of playing, like a little slalom course through the hermit crab shells. It was a really cool time. Then he took us to this other island and says, okay, he said when Cook Island Survivor was filmed here, this island here was one of the tribes. And we went just a few feet off the beach, and there was a little wooden table there with little wooden tree stumps sitting next to it where they used to sit and eat. And then there was coconut shells that had been split open, and that's what they used for their bowls and their drinking and stuff. And then we walked through this path to the other side of the island, and there's more islands out there. And we got told that, that one over there is the one that they did the tribal council on. That's the one they used for the challenges. That one over there is the one that the other tribe lived on. So it was kind of cool to see this, even though I hadn't watched the Cook Island edition. It was kind of cool to see it because you kind of got the gist of what goes on and everything else on Survivor. And then when we got back, and we spent the night on Arataki, and the next morning we're up. We had another hotel tour that morning. On our way to the airport, we get on the plane, we fly back to Rarotonga, to the main island, and we went to another hotel, got a tour around there. Then we basically had the afternoon off to enjoy their facility and all of the activities that they provide. Some people went paddle boarding, some went canoeing. Others of us just hung out on the beach, and we had this table in this tent that we sat and ate at, and some of us just hung out there and just chatted, and it was a really cool afternoon. And then that evening we were taken to another hotel and given a tour there, and we did actually go back. We did go back to the hotel we were on the first night. We'd actually left our suitcases there, so they took our suitcase. We were back in the same rooms we were before, and we had dinner with them that night. And that hotel was the host hotel for the Survivor edition of the Cook Islands edition, and they were telling us all the stories about the film crews, about contestants when they get kicked out of the Survivor thing, how they got to stay at the hotel, and they could request anything they wanted. They could have anything that they wanted. There was no limitations on what they could ask for, as long as it was legal. And so we had a lot of fun just exploring these different hotels, and we saw a lot of hotels. We saw some that were like for the budget conscious. We saw some that were moderately priced, and we saw some high-end ones which were sort of like, ooh, this isn't bad. And there was one resort, they had 6 villas, and they had 3 across the bottom that slept 2 in each one, and then the ones upstairs slept 4. Hang on, because you get a total of 18 people between it must have been 3 upstairs. And they had their own. You had a lanai area on the ones downstairs. Had a lanai area upstairs. They had a patio area, and then you could those on the lower level could walk out. There's a swimming pool. There was a gazebo over here that had these different floor cushions in there where you could use it for yoga or meditation or whatever. They also had water sports stuff available. And one of the people at the hotels, they says, we don't offer a lot here at our property. We give them breakfast. The idea is we give you breakfast. We have water sports stuff available, like paddle boards and canoes and kayaks and all of that. You can even they even have the water shoes and all of that. And you go across the road from their property. You can access the beach from there and go and you're in the lagoon area. You're in the lagoon area of Rarotonga, and you go out and have the water sports. But they said, the idea is that you sleep here, you eat your breakfast here, and then basically the island is your resort. You just go out, you go explore. And they had all these different things. We were supposed to do a bike ride, but that got cancelled. And then there was, what was his name? Pa. You could do a tour with, we didn't do the tour with Pa, but you could do a tour with Pa, and he takes you up into the bush area and explains all the different plants to you and the medicinal uses that those plants can have and which ones you can eat and which ones you don't eat and that sort of thing. So I thought that would have been really cool. But of course, because of the length of time, we didn't have time to do that, to fit that in our schedule. But we had a great time there, and then we went and spent 3 nights in New Zealand, and had a great time there too. And I even got to catch up with my mum and dad for a couple of hours, which was, they say it was only an hour, but we had 3 hours. So it was pretty cool because they were all going off to the Polynesian baths, which I had been to many, many times, and I am not a hot water person. I don't do baths because I can't sit in the hot water for very long. It used to annoy Brad because I said, I actually feel like having a bath. And he's like, okay. And so he's telling me all the ins and outs of our little spa bath that we have upstairs in our master suite when we're back in Virginia. And I'll get all the water ready. Yep, right temperature. Get in there, start reading a book. And after 5 minutes, it's like, I've had enough of this. And I'm out and I go back downstairs, drain the thing, get dressed and everything else, and go back downstairs. And I've been upstairs all of 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. Brad was like, thought you were going to go take a bath. It says yeah. I said, I'm done. Whereas he would go up there and he would spend over an hour soaking in the tub, and he would release some of the water, add more hot water as he needed it, and he was totally the hot water, love soaking in tubs type person. Me, I overheat. Um, so yeah, so I didn't want to go to the Polynesian bars because I've been there many times before as a kid, and I was just like, yeah, I really don't feel it. So my parents were coordinated, so my parents knew that we were going to be there, and John had coordinated the schedule so that I would have some time with my parents, for which I was very appreciative as well. And so we had a good time together. And of course, I was one of the first people off the bus, but my luggage was the last to come off the bus. And so everybody's gone, oh, you Helen's parents, don't worry, she's coming. So they were all there in the foyer when I walk inside, and there's my mum and dad there. And so they got to see that whole reunion and everything else. So it was kind of cool. And yeah, so that was a really good trip. We got to go to Hobbiton that next day as well, before we got taken to the airport to fly back up to Auckland to catch our plane back to the States. And I got to go to Hobbiton, and the whole time walking around, I was like, got to bring Brad back here, got to bring Brad back here, but I never got a chance to take him back there. All he got to do was see my photos and hear everything about it. But it was a really cool, it's a guided tour. You cannot do a self-guided tour through there because they're explaining the behind the scenes stuff to you for the movie. You've got hobbit houses that are all different sizes based on the scene that they need to shoot. Do they need one that's a quarter size, a half size, a third size, a full size, based on the scene that they're shooting at the time? And even though when we're standing there, we're looking out and she's going, okay, well, east is over here, west is over here, but in the movie they're the other way around, and explained how that got done. And then you had moss growing on the sunny side of the fences instead of the shaded side of the fences. And so we got told about how they keep the moss alive there. It's a full working farm. They've got beautiful gardens there. The vegetables they've got the green dragon there, which had put on a beautiful spread for us as well. It was awesome. All fresh fruits and vegetables, and all the vegetables had come directly from the garden that they have there. So it was a full working garden and everything, an orchard. So they bring in the fresh fruits and stuff from there. And but it was a really cool trip. And we got to do the beaches and bush tour as well, which is normally like an 8-hour tour. And because we were the only people on the bus, and we were able to, he was able to take us around fairly quickly because they'd already arranged for a shortened trip. And he goes, and because he'd tell us, you've got, we had 20 minutes to go get our lunches from this bakery that was there. And he said, I want you all back on board. So we were all back in 20 minutes and, 15 minutes. He said, okay, we've got 15 minutes to look around. We're all back on board 10 minutes later. And because we were so good at getting back on the bus on time and everything else, we actually had some time left over. So he was able to take us down to one of the beaches there that was used in the movie The Piano. And so we got to see that. We wouldn't have been able to see that had we been sticking to our original plan and not being back on the bus on time and that sort of stuff as well. So we got to see a couple of extra things, which was kind of cool because, we were on it. We were, let's move. We got 20 minutes. Boom, we were all back on the bus 15 minutes later, and so it was a very awesome time, even though it was 6 days, and we were there for work. It still felt like a vacation because we've been in the Cook Islands where time stands still. We got to New Zealand where time's a little faster than the Cook Islands, but not as fast as it is here in the States. And then we got to fly back home again. And then Gus and Brad were at the airport to meet me. So that was kind of cool too. Gus with his head out the window, big smile, just sees me and he's like getting. Brad said his tail just started going like crazy. So that was kind of cool to do all of that. And but yeah, it was a really good trip. And I just wish Brad could have come with us, but unfortunately he couldn't because he didn't qualify for the trip. So but sad about that. And I wanted to get him back down there again so that we could go to like Hobbiton and show him that because he was such a Lord of the Rings fan. And but unfortunately life intervened. Travel plans got cancelled because of his cancer and everything else, and he never got to go there. So he just had to live through me, go that trip through me and seeing the photographs and stuff. So I made sure I took plenty of photographs at Hobbiton for him. But anyway, I'm out of here. I got a DOG that wants a WALK, and here she comes over here with her head up, her tail wagging. Come here. saying, come on, it's time to go. So go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. Think about all those places you've vacationed over the year. What are some of your favorites? And write down your memories of those. I am in the middle of writing down, have a notebook here. It's called Musings, and I've been writing about our trip, our river cruise that we did to Europe, that Brad and I did to Europe back in whenever we did that one. It was a Christmas market cruise in 2011. That's when it was, December of 2011, because it was my 45th birthday, the day we got on the ship. So I've been writing about that trip, so I've at least got that one down. She's got it back to me, which means she wants lots of scratches. She has it back to me. She loves getting these scratches down her back and on the back of her head and things. But anyway, I'm out of here. Go have a super fantastic, sparkling evening and make it relaxing and enjoying things. And I just realized I don't have my planner set up for tomorrow, but I'll do it tomorrow morning. So go have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we will catch you guys back here tomorrow for excuse me, for Magic Monday. Hey, Conora.